but not completely without destruction.
How much is enough?
Well, you can get by on just a very little bit, you know, you just do one little destructive thing and okay, I feel better, that'll hold me for a few days.
I love that.
Yeah, right, you know.
With age, can we talk about age or old? What does old mean to you, the word? Do you consider yourself old? Because the brand, Iggy, is the values of it, what you're about, what you make people say, just in a heartbeat, they say, Iggy Pop, That's not old.
I suppose, to me, when I think of old, I think of a process of giving up or giving ground and a shrinking of the sphere of life. And those are things, those are necessary tactical situations that come up, that arise as you live longer and longer. Not to mention that you've got more of a history too, so everybody's got the goods on you. You know, there's that too. But in my case, I've kind of gotten kind of a pass on that because I feel better in general now than I did when I was 18, 19, 21. Even when I was 15, I was a pretty active kid up until I was 15, and then it was time to go from middle school to high school. My high school was huge, 3,500 kids, and all of a sudden I couldn't make the swim team. I couldn't make the track team. I made the debate team. But my music activities were about to take off, but they hadn't yet. And all of a sudden, I found myself coming home after school alone and watching the ad for Carter's Little Liver Pills in black and white and thinking, this is wrong. I'm missing out on life. And I had a period of kind of depression, which probably led to what was a very rash decision in 1966 to become a professional musician who couldn't read music or, you know, wasn't a concert pianist or anything. That was considered a dangerous game. So I had a lot of insecurity during my whole career too, because it took a long time for me to generate the numbers. And it was hard to keep going. I don't have that sort of a problem today. Maybe another day, I don't know. But so, I feel pretty good. You know, like, so, you know, there are like areas, I don't know about your life, but aren't there sort of areas every day where you're thinking, and then there are other parts, hey, you know, and it kind of goes up and down, and so I'm kind of there. So I don't mind the spot I'm at, but it's a new spot, and so like there are a lot of things I can't do now that I could do when I was 25, but I think because I was basically kind of a loony, what's happened with me is that the less I can do, the better off I am. So, you know, it's like, good, you know, I can't do this, can't do that, but I can do a music show, and I enjoy that, and I can do an advert or a part in a film or a radio show, and I really enjoy those things. And
one thing I saw, which I loved, was you played, and you played with like Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age, and the guy from Matt from the Arctic Monkeys, and I was like, he's a crush on everybody. Like, I loved everybody on that stage. What I noticed, though, was your effect on them.
What would reflect on that?
I noticed your effect on those guys. So I just want to say, I'll say it a different way. Josh Homme was suddenly sexy. Like, anyone who knows him, he's about 7 foot tall, looks like an orc. But he was like,
Well, part of that was that Josh was freed because I was handling the lead vocals. So in most of his normal band setups, he's playing the lead guitar and the lead vocal, and there's a lot of equipment to deal with that. So in one sense, it freed him. And I think both the old material of mine that we play and the new stuff he wrote for me, I think it's kind of a turn on for Josh. And for the whole bunch of them. And when we started in January, we did our first live show, and it was a TV show and the Colbert Show in the US, and we were all sort of trying not to mess up each other's space, and I wore a shirt with like a John Travolta collar to try to be, really proper, and it didn't last too long, and everybody started getting I started getting a little more Iggy, a little wild, and I move around a lot when I work, and they're not going to just stand there while I move around, because these guys they're all highly skilled, competitive rock stars, and good ones, fine musicians too. So after a while, everybody's snaking and baking and humping and jumping, and I sent him a text the other day saying that you guys are the most handsome and alluring band on the planet today. Because I felt that way, I really did.
I'd just like to bring up one thing before we get which I think is the reason I ask about your effect on everybody else, the energy you have, is really that I think in our game, I looked into it, 5% of people, I think this stat's right, are older than 45 in our industry. 5%. And just like, you see Cindy talk about it, and she talks about, old white men. But dude, there can't be that many old white men if that's the case. And I think it's a real weird thing. And it's like, where do all the old ad people go? Like elves from Lord of the Rings. But everyone talks about youth and how we attract youth. What would you say to this industry?
You're asking me where the old ad people go?
Yeah. Where are they?
I don't know what are they like anyway? I'm trying to think of I know you and I know Mark. I'm trying to think of the copywriters that I've met, and I think that's about it. I mean, I meet marketing people at the record companies, and they all have like 2 faces, 3 mouths, 10 sets of ethics, I'm in marketing. Yeah, man. Yeah. But, I mean, young people can be pretty shitty too, So I don't think it's just old white men. It's pretty much a human. It's pretty much a human possibility to be kind of crappy. I can't help there much. I mean, I think as long as people keep sticking out their finger and pressing skip ad, and then things will change, because that's like it's like voting, isn't it? Except it's weird usually, and it's funny that in the Western democracies, you're not really supposed to vote against anybody. like you can't go into a booth and just vote against someone. You to achieve that, you have to vote for someone else at least. But skip ad is a negative vote, isn't it?
Yes.
That's pretty heavy, you know. I'm trying to think. There's a new slew of ads. I can't remember it. Who bought Anheuser-Busch in the U.S. Budweiser? Are they Brazilians or Belgians?
No
I
idea.
think they're Belgians, and all of a sudden they don't. They used to have these patriotic ads with this red, white, and blue, and these big draft horses pulling an old keg, and now suddenly it's like sleaze bars, you know? And they're probably doing well with the sleaze bars, you know, I suppose, but it doesn't stop me going. You know, they have like sleazy, good-looking people sidling up to each other in a bar with the product in their hand, guzzling the product, you know, in the dark. It doesn't do anything for me.
Right, well, we're out of time. Just before we go, I just want to say thank you. You've been really inspiring. There was one quote I found of yours, which I just fucking love. The stages are getting higher and higher, and I'm getting older and older, but you keep jumping off them. And I just want to say thank you for that.
All right, cool. I'll tell you what, there's one thing, you know, Nils here promised to come out and do this interview topless for charity. He's raised a couple £1,000. His wife was nagging him backstage about, you better take the jacket off or people will be pissed. So I'll do it with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Iggy Pop. Thanks, Iggy. Thanks for coming. And many thanks to Gray for the annual music seminar and Nils Lennon for being a good sport as well. Nils Lennon, everybody. A short break.